Hello, it is Sunday, September 17th, 2023. Well, actually, for me, it is not. It's another one of these nighttime pre-solves. I hope this one proceeds better than my last attempt on Friday, which was not my finest solve. We'll have to see. In any case, this pre-solved edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Noah Bizanson, Madeline Lee, Alan Blunder, and as always, the indomitable Showmaster and the incredible Horan family. So thank you so much to the five of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support. They do sustain this channel. They keep this series going. I'm very grateful to them for that. And thank you as well to everybody who's a patron of the series. Thank you if that includes you. And if you'd like it to include you, you can head over to patreon.com/dailysolve or click the link in the description field underneath the video. There you can find the bonus videos available to patrons, as well as the official Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug for benefactors. Thank you again to everybody who's a patron. And also, please do consider subscribing to the channel on YouTube. That's, of course, free. It's helpful. And thank you to everybody who's done that. And finally, there is the Daily Solve Discord chat server. There's a link in the description field to that friendly chat community where you can discuss these videos, these crosswords, and other puzzles and crosswords. All right, so let's get on to the solve before I... Let's just get on with this so that I give myself as much time as possible, because it is a Sunday puzzle as well, so it is an extra large grid. This is a double debut, a collaboration, I believe anyway, that this is the first crossword from both of our collaborators today, Jill Rafaloff and Michelle Sontarp, so welcome to them. We'll see what they have in store for us, and it was edited, of course, as always, by Will Shorts. It's a Sunday puzzle, so it has a title of classical music, and so I don't know, there's nothing very punny sounding about that, so I don't know what to infer from it, but it might be about classical music. That might itself turn out to be some kind of pun, and it's about a different sort of music. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Maybe it mixes classical history and music. I don't know. Anyway, let's start solving, see how we get on with this one. Need for double Dutch. So I think this is probably double Dutch jump rope, I suppose. And exclamation from Astro on the Jetsons. Astro is the dog? Is he a robot dog? I can't really remember. Maybe he's just a regular dog. I think Astro's the dog. I don't know. It's been a very long time since I've seen the Jetsons. Popular pizza chain, familiarly. Familiarly. I don't know. Domino's Doms or something? I don't know. I have no idea. Like some books. I don't know. Opened. Worker who throws things. Worker who throws things. Not sure about that either. And here we have in particular in shorthand. ESP for especially. You could say that's especially true and maybe write it in an abbreviated way like that. URL starter, so that's a uniform resource locator. A web address would start with HTTP or HTTPS for hypertext transfer protocol, or the secure version. Oh, row? Is that? I think that's a thing that multiple cartoon dogs say, right? Because doesn't Scooby-Doo also sort of say rut-row? Let's see, that seems plausible to me. Popular pizza chain, okay, it's nothing to do with Domino's. It's Uno's? Is that not the full name of that pizza chain? Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's something like Uno's Deep Dish or something like that, I don't know. I assume that's the answer. Worker who throws things. A potter. Right, that's what it's called when you... I've never actually done that. I've never created any sort of ceramic thing, but I know that when the potter's wheel, you sort of throw clay onto it, and that's part of the terminology. So I think that must be what that is. So like some books. Yeah, I'm not sure. Tell on somebody is to rat on them, to grass, to snitch. And, some books on tape, right, okay, it's a slightly sort of increasingly outdated term, I suppose, at this point, because generally speaking, you'd have an audio book would be in a digital file rather than on tape, but there we go, that is a concept, books on tape. Excited gifter's words, they could urge you to open it. Oh, right, here's an italicized clue. Usually when you see an italicized clue, it means it's part of the theme. And often what that means is there isn't a revealer. There isn't a sort of central clue that ties all of the theme clues together. Instead, they're italicized, and that's what ties them together. And then it's up to us to determine the meaning. So anyway, warning to Icarus, the Beatles. Okay, so Icarus was he famously in mythology flew too close to the sun, and his kind of wings bound with wax melted and failed. Here Comes the Sun? Right, okay, very good. Took me longer than it should have, probably, but there's a Beatles song, George Harrison song, entitled Here Comes the Sun. That's a Harrison song, isn't it? Pretty sure. And that could be an apt warning to Icarus. There we go. So it was the thing I said. Well, not the classical history so much, but classical mythology, I suppose, in this case. So it is a conflation of classical mythology and music. I suppose it'll probably end up being pop music. So far, it is. I suspect that'll be the case because those will have lyrics and song titles people would know. Okay, touching, say. I don't know if this means emotionally touching or physically. Near to, maybe? I'm not sure. Or nested, maybe? If things are nested, they're touching, maybe? Oh, no, neither of these, because iconic TV role for Lucy Lawless would be Xena, warrior princess. So touching, maybe it is next to, actually. Right, I think I said near to, but next to, maybe. Optical accessories, you could have a mouse, a computer mouse, which uses an uses a laser, essentially, to or some optical sensor to detect movement. Ribbed pasta, rigatoni, is a tubular pasta with sort of ridges. Blank avis, rara avis, a rare bird, literally, I suppose. And then somewhat could be a bit or a tad, something like that. Building support beam could be an I-bar. This is one of those categories of clue. I actually feel like as though this used to occur more often in the crossword. You'd get things like I-bar, I-beam, H-bar, H-beam, and you'd sort of just have to figure it out from the crosses because they're treated sort of interchangeably in the grid. But I don't see it as often these days. Anyway, that I think is the answer here, referring to construction, building construction, that sort of thing. Somewhat, okay, so it's a bit. That does disambiguate that. That's good. Supplication to Ares, Plastic Ono Band. Right, okay. I wonder if these will all be Beatles related or if that's just happens to be the case for these two. I don't actually really know any material by the Plastic Ono Band. I have to be honest, despite the fact that Yoko Ono is the official female solo musical artist of the New York Times crossword. But in this case, not operating, I suppose, as a solo artist. Supplication to Ares. Something like give, maybe, give up, give in. I just don't know any material by this group. Dodger Stadium is built on one. A ravine, maybe? I don't know that, but it might be true. It looks like it's what would fit. So this would be give. Big things to sell out. You could sell out an arena as a musical act, for instance, appropriately enough to the theme. And shows up in the afternoon would be matinees. So there's a question mark there because it indicates this is a pun. You don't mean shows up in the afternoon in the sense of appearing in the afternoon, stopping by someone's home or something, but rather a showing of a film or a theatrical production or something in the afternoon, a matinee. Cheeky, which presumably is just from the French for afternoon. Or morning, actually, I suppose that would be. Cheeky. Pert, as in kind of you're a bit sassy, you're a bit pert, a bit cheeky. Tell on informally. Oh, right, we had rat on up here, and then here we could have narc, to narc on somebody. So exactly the same kind of thing. But yeah, I suppose this is more informal language, although they're both fairly informal. Chant to an honoree, you could sort of chant speech, because you're encouraging someone being honored to speak. Cutting room, question mark. A salon, a place where haircuts are given. And to tidy up a room, for instance, would be to neaten it. Word of woe. Alas, you could say, alas, woe is me. Spirit of St. Louis, E.G., that is famously a plane piloted by Charles Lindbergh, I believe, an aircraft. And then Fond du Lac is a city in Wisconsin. I have heard of the name. I've never been to Wisconsin. I don't think I know anything about the town, but I've certainly seen it before, and it appears to be the answer. Well, I've seen the name of it. Oh, give peace a chance. Supplication to Ares. Right. Oh, okay. Fair enough. I should have inferred this one because, of course, Ares is the god of war. So his supplication to him might be to give peace a chance. That's very good. Okay. This is very redolent of this week's. This is, well, it's not similar in terms of the mechanic, but it's reminding me of this week's listener, which has a theme, a listener crossword, uh, themed cryptic crossword, has a theme that I guess I shouldn't describe because it just occurs to me that is a competition puzzle and it is still in its active period. So maybe I shouldn't go into any more detail about that. Anyway, yoga pose on all fours. Cat, I imagine, is cat or cow, or I'm trying to think, are there any other animals that would fit? It's probably cat, right? Congregants, oh no, maybe it is cow, because congregant seats in a church would be pews. Okay, well, there we go. You can tell I'm not a yoga practitioner. Orders, one's behest. They did this task upon your orders, at your behest, maybe. Let's see if that fits. I'm not 100% certain it's correct, but it seems plausibly correct. Hirer of an, yeah, okay, maybe it is, because hirer of an executive director. So maybe the company board of directors could hire an executive director of the company. And a kind of history, oral history is a kind of history. A as in ancient history, A as in ancient history. Is it referring to the letter A? Oh, maybe Anno is in Anno Domini, but it depends how ancient you mean, because that's, we're still in that. Let's see. Half of a Muppet duo. Ernie, as in Bert and Ernie, the duo. I guess it is probably Anno. And then, let's see, figure skating jump. A toe loop? I'm not sure I know that, but it sounds plausible and it looks plausible. Having a lot of dinero. Okay, yeah, so if you're rich in Spanish, you have a lot of dinero, a lot of money, you could be rico. And then woe-inducing. Something deep, profound, maybe, makes you say whoa because you're sort of impressed by some kind of profound revelation. So I think that is toe loop. Okay, I'm satisfied. I'll move on. Trunk, torso. One's sort of in an anatomical sense, your trunk, your torso. I think that's probably correct. German or is odor. Odor. Depends how Germanically you want to pronounce it, I guess, whether you sort of say the R or not, but it is certainly the answer. And speaking of certainly, this clue is certain, which is sure, I would think. Beef maybe is a feud, a beef as in an argument, or a rivalry maybe. Highlight, in a way, could be a verb or a noun, I suppose, actually. Not sure. What about this one? Job candidate's aspiration would be an offer. They aspire to be offered the job. So the offer itself is their aspiration. No blank. Could be no way, but probably other possibilities. Let's look at the downs. Right, I don't think it is no way, because radiate looks like emit, as if if you radiate light, such as the sun, right here, you emit light. So no Moss, no Solomon, for one. A sage, Solomon the Wise. What about this one? Neither lose nor win in betting link. Oh, push. I do at least recognize that. I know I'm never great at the gambling-related clues in here, but so this is probably no Moss. Okay, so no more. And then Solomon for one. Maybe it is sage for a wise person. And then, oh, right, request to Prometheus, The Doors. So here the band The Doors. Light My Fire would be the Doors song being addressed to Prometheus, who famously stole fire from the gods and gave it to humankind. And so that could be a request to Prometheus, which he did fulfill. Okay, so here we have the A of AIG. I don't know. That's an insurance company, right? So does it stand for... Is that the case? Isn't AIG an insurer, or are they a bank? Oof, I should probably know that, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% certain. Let's look at this. Consideration for a hairstylist. I am not sure actually what we want there. Something to do with your cut or hairdo or something. Hey, in brackets. So in brackets, what this might mean is that we're creating a non-verbal sound. You might make it with your mouth, but it wouldn't be kind of parsed language. So it could be something like psst, just a sound you'd make to grab attention. You're essentially saying hey, but you're not using a word to do it. So, oh, a part, right. A hairstylist could be concerned with where your hair is parted. Okay, there we go. That looks perfectly reasonable to me. So features of airports in Nevada. I don't know. That's awfully specific. I'm curious to know what that is. Features of airports. Yeah, I'm not sure. What about this one? Vocal range from about F3 to F5. Okay, well, I wouldn't have been able to quote that range to you, but fairly certain that, that would be the alto singing range, which is lower than, for instance, a soprano. And slots, features of airport. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Slats on the windows or something? I have no clue what this is. Sorry about that. Common city streets hangouts, stoops. So you could have, stoops in front of urban homes. People could be hanging out on them, on row houses, that kind of place. Okay, I think row houses is what stoops are most associated with. I guess not necessarily. I guess you could have stoops on freestanding homes. But you'd probably call that a porch? Yeah, now I'm curious about how exactly that's defined. Anyway, small sip of alcohol to Brits. Taught. Underlying reason. Root cause. That looks perfectly reasonable. So this does look like slots. What is that? Oh, right. No, I do know what this is. I have seen this actually. The airports it's true. The airports in Nevada have slot machines. Nevada is the state is a gambling heavy state. Las Vegas is there. Reno, Nevada, which is also a gambling town, is there, and the airports themselves do have gambling. They do have things like slot machines in them. Right. Okay. Yes, that is true, and it's a very strange thing to get off the plane in Nevada. Okay. Total suck up is a sponge. There we go. Literally absorbs liquid. Comment to Aphrodite, Roy Orbison. Okay. I also don't know Roy Orbison very well, I have to be honest. I'm sure this will probably be recognizable, but I doubt I'll be able to jump straight to it. But you know what I just saw? Oh no, never mind. I thought I had an idea, but I don't think I do. Okay, let's look around and see if I can get enough of this to give me a guess. What a cordwainer makes. Oh, that's interesting. Cordwainer. What does a cordwainer make? That's really interesting. I want to know. Spanish butt. Oh no. Am I going to know this? No, I don't. I'll probably recognize it, but I can't think. That's so frustrating. I say this every time, but I really do need to learn some Spanish. Okay, well, let's move up to the crosses where I left off. Set apart. Isolate. To isolate somebody would be to set them apart in a literal sense. So, I didn't look at this clue. Nail work for short would be mani, as in manicure. Like mani-pedi, they're often abbreviated adjacently like that for manicure, pedicure. So the A of AIG, I'm not sure what this is. Peter and Alexander, those are czars, Russian czars historically. So, international? So that would be a perfectly plausible thing for I to stand for in AIG. So either blank in blank. Love is love. Okay, there we go. That's a common sort of phrase, and it would make L in international work. So I think that'll be it. London-based cosmetics giant. Is Avon based in London? I don't know. I actually don't know that. Parcel of land would be a lot, could be a lot of land. And guiding light, a lantern? Okay. I suppose Avon must be based in London. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Airport transport, a tram, maybe? Sometimes there are trams to take you between different terminals of an airport. Big name in auto parts, not sure about that. DiCarlo, who played Lily Munster. Oh, no idea. I assume this means on the TV sitcom The Munsters. I'm not sure if they ever... Is that one of the things that has been rebooted and therefore would have additional possibilities of source material? I think it's probably the show. One with a fascinating job. A resewer? Big name in auto parts. I don't think I'm going to know what that is until I get more of it, at least. Highlight in a way. Yeah, not a great little area of the grid for me. I'll have to keep going. Dior fragrance. Oh, this I do know, because they advertise it fairly heavily. I have seen ads for J'adore by Dior, which would mean I adore, I love in French. And it obviously, rhymes with Dior, so it's memorable in that sense. Oh, Midas. Midas, I think, is an auto parts supplier or manufacturer or something. Probably supplier. So a riveter is one with a fascinating job. There we go. You literally rivet things. So you fasten, maybe metal or most likely to. And then here we have probably Yvonne DiCarlo, who played Lily Munster. That looks likely. Okay. Probably should have guessed Yvonne just from the Y at the beginning and the number of letters, but I didn't. So here we have to highlight in a way would be to reiterate it. So if you reiterate something, you repeat it, you draw attention to it, you highlight it. Purge could be if you rid something, rid a place of something, you purge it of that thing. And its first store was in Elmholt, Småland. Oh, IKEA probably? I didn't know that offhand, but... Oh, I've learned what the initials of IKEA stand for, and I can't remember anymore. That's a shame. Is the A from that town? I'm not sure. It might not be. That might be a coincidence. It stands for something dealing with the founder and his initials and maybe the place he's from, something like that. Anyway, ingredients in many candies. Well, ingredients being pluralized makes me think that this will be. Let's see if that works with this clue. Some are loose. Loose teas, as opposed to... So the tea leaves as opposed to in a bag? Could be. What about this? First name in cosmetics. Right. Estee as an Estee Lauder. I'm sure that's the answer. If something's done under the table, it's done in a sneaky manner. So that's probably the answer here. And then ingredients in many candies are dyes. Right, of course. Candies are often brightly colored artificially with dyes. Okay. Nuevo Hampshire, por ejemplo. That would be Estado of the United States, so a state in Spanish, the Estado Unidos. There we go. Nuevo Hampshire spelled in that manner in order to tie into the Spanish language nature of the clue and answer. Okay, here we have blank major cluster, astronomical grouping. Is it Ursa Major? We're referring to that group of stars, Ursa Major cluster? I'm not knowledgeable enough to know if there are other obvious choices that would fit into this space. So let me just try it and see if I can confirm or deny with crosses. University sessions, semesters, SEMS abbreviated. So university is abbreviated there, and that suggests the answer will be as well. And if this is correct, then there you have it. So let's keep building on this, see if we can continue to confirm or deny it. Stopper, okay, a plug for a sink. Okay, I'm now relatively certain Ursa is correct. So you could have a stopper and a sink, for instance, a plug. Vegetable that looks like a portmanteau of two other vegetables, but isn't. That's interesting. What is that? Parsnip? Oh, because it looks like parsley and turnip? Oh, that's funny. It's never even occurred to me to think about. No, it's never occurred to me to consider that that was a portmanteau, and now I sort of wish I had. Um, but it isn't the case. Blank and the Pussycats fictional band. So Josie and the Pussycats is a sort of cartoon band that has also been adapted into a live action film. Comment to Aphrodite Roy Orbison is so I don't know what this is. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry. Oh, that's annoying. I wish with this many letters, I wish I'd be able to get it. I'm sure I probably will have heard the song title. What have we not seen? Spanish Butt, Junior and Senior. Junior and Senior are. I don't know, actually. I don't know that either. What about this? Chapters of history are eras. There we go. There's something I can get. Component of a fairy costume would be a wing or a wand. There we go. Creme de la creme, you could say, the sort of cream of the cream, the top, the best of the best. Oh, is it Oh Pretty Woman? Oh, is that actually the name of the song? It has an O in the title? I didn't know that. Oh Pretty Woman, there you go. Okay, so that's the comment to Aphrodite, who, of course, was legendarily beautiful in the mythology. Okay, so there we go. That is the case, and I do know that song, of course. Here's one. Olympic craft since 1936. Canoes? I hope that's right. Spanish butt. Drunken walk. A stagger. Is canoes right? I don't know. I don't think of that as being Olympic, but I don't say that with any authority. It's not that I think they aren't. I just don't really know one way or the other. Let's keep going. Match. Something found on a belt would be a. Not sure about that. Criticism of Narcissus, Carly Simon. Oh, You're So Vain. There we go. You're so vain, you probably think the song is about you, she might say to Narcissus, which seems fair enough. He sort of trapped himself, essentially obsessing over his image in a lake, his reflection. Match could be to sync up, to synchronize, and then something found on a belt is. There's so many different kinds of. Obviously there's a belt as clothing, but there are lots of other things that include the word belt and are that figuratively. I'm not sure if I should be thinking of one of those or if I should just be thinking about a belt itself. I'm not sure. Smoke detector nose? Is it as simple as that? Question mark to make it a bit punny. Oh, something found on a belt. Tool, right, okay, tool belt. So it's something somewhere in between what I was thinking. It is literally a belt, but it's not a kind of the ordinary clothing kind. Okay, Van Cleef and Arpels is a jeweler, so I've certainly at least seen those stores. So that I recognize. To concur, I don't think I looked at that clue. To concur is to agree. This does look like canoes, doesn't it? So what a cordwainer makes his shoes. Oh, right. That's news to me. Great. Okay, good. And then Spanish butt is pero. Okay, I don't really particularly recognize that, which is somewhat embarrassing, but does reinforce my declaration that I need to learn some Spanish. Brood is could be a verb or a noun. They're fairly different concepts in noun and verb form because you could brood over something in a kind of angsty, contemplative manner, or you could have a brood of children. So in that sense, it could be family, actually. That would fit in 5 letters. It's 6 letters with an F. Like now, ASAP, you could yell at somebody as soon as possible. Letters on a cognac bottle. Oh, right. Yeah. What are the gratings or something like how the gratings of quality or something? I don't exactly know how what this delineates, but there's VS, there's sort of VS, and then there's VSOP, and then I think there's maybe XO above that. I couldn't speak about this in detail, but I think this is what we're looking for here. Okay. Envy, e.g., is a sin, e.g. meaning an example. So envy is famously one of the 7 deadly sins. So I think that would be correct. Major inconvenience is a pain. It's a real big pain, you could say. Oh, and here's one of these. Entreaty to Hades, Electric Light Orchestra. Don't bring me down. Oh, I misspelled Estado. Sorry about that. Whoops. I was probably letting the spelling of state or the French état equivalent with a T in that position influence me. Sorry about that. So Don't Bring Me Down is a song by the Electric Light Orchestra and a fitting entreaty to Hades, who rules the underworld in Greek mythology, and you might plead with him not to take you down there. Okay, swing by a string would be to dangle something in front of you, maybe. A jacket type. I'm not sure. Erupt with laughter is to roar, maybe, to roar with laughter. And like some spy messages, they could be in code, they could be encoded. Item in a table setting, a napkin, I suppose, is an element of a table setting. Actress Chaplin, Una Chaplin is an actress. And jacket type is, a bomber jacket. That's a type of jacket. There we go. So what is this? This is strange looking. Oh, I see, because it's multiple words. Bygone Apple desktops would be iMac Pros, right? Okay, yeah, it's fairly relatively obscure, I think. The iMac Pro, I think that was only offered for not a very long time, because they have the huge Mac Pros and they have the iMacs, which have been around since the late 90s, but they did for a few years offer an iMac Pro. Oh, whoops, I spelled this in. Sorry. iMac Pax is what I wrote, not what I intended to write. Radii, e.g., are arm bones. Yes, okay, so yes, that radii could refer to arm bones, or it could refer mathematically to the, the measurement from the center of a circle to its circumference, but in this case, it refers to arm bones. Camp production maybe could be, oh, right, so this doesn't mean a production made at summer camp. It means a film production that is, camp in the sense of having a camp sensibility, perhaps. A particular, I don't exactly really even know how you define camp, but a sort of intentionally heightened theatrical kind of quality. Yeah, it's hard to define, but anyway, you probably know what I mean. And often, movie with that sensibility might be a B movie. It might be a sort of lower budget film. To excess could be over. He ate to excess. He ate overly. There we go. Okay, that's it. Sometimes I do find that trying to force these into a sentence is helpful, because you have to try and be as precise as possible, in the sense that the clue, if it's properly written, the clue should always match the kind of tense and singular versus plural of the answer. You should be able to sort of, in most cases with a clue, you should be able to swap out the answer with the clue, and it would make sense in a sentence. So I do sometimes find that helpful, to just try and do that in my head. Certain polytheist, so a believer in multiple gods, which is an appropriate clue for a theme, in a puzzle that includes a theme dealing with the Greek pantheon. Certain polytheist is a Wiccan, maybe. There we go. And then to cancel out, I think that's probably right. Cancel out would be to negate something. So heart monitor for short is an ECG. There we go. Here we have, looks like an orca. Yes, a predator that can grow to roughly the size of a school bus. Wow, that is actually quite astonishing. Is an orca. Frequently, poetically, would be oft. So, often in poetic language, oft. Also often in German. Lackluster. Something lackluster is sort of flat and muted. And Blank Daly, Cagney and Lacey co-stars, is Tyne Daly. There we go, the actor. Some are loose ends, you could certainly refer to. And to eat in style is to dine. I suppose dine does sort of suggest maybe something more impressive than simply eating. Tear, to tear paper would be to rend it. And then here we have congratulations to Eos, Cat Stevens. So Eos is the dawn. So I don't know that I know this song, but it's obviously something about dawn breaking. Dawning, oh, I'm not sure. Okay, let's look here. Popular vacation destination. An isle, maybe? Maybe they mean it generically as opposed to a specific place. I'm not sure this is right. I'm just going to try it out. Religious figurehead, an elder, maybe? Often the case. I'm not sure this is correct either. I'm just going to keep layering guess upon guess and see if it eventually breaks. Recipe instruction could be add, so add a particular measurement of something. 2001 computer is HAL 9000, the sort of rogue computer in 2001. So this does look right. A cafeteria server could be a ladle. Sure, someone could serve you food in a cafeteria from a ladle, or you could serve yourself. Okay, this is actually all looking perfectly fine. President Biden once senator, so like many presidents, came from the Senate. Egg white is albumin. That's the term for egg white, albumin. And then attaboy or attagirl kind of means you tell them, but that doesn't, not just on its own. Blank Linda, California. Loma Linda, California? Is a place in California? I think that'll be probably right. Articles that may be wired. Articles that may be wired. Don't think I'm seeing that one. Condo, e.g., could be a unit. So you could say, oh, I have a unit in the building. It's a condo. It's a condominium. So that's a sort of, unit in a building that is owned as opposed to rented as a condominium. So, morning has broken. Right. Okay. So that's the congratulations to Eos, who is the dawn. Is morning has broken. Dawn. Dawn has arrived. Okay. Articles that may be wired. Oh, bras. Articles of clothing. Didn't even consider that. So you could have underwire and a bra. So foul could be nasty, straightforwardly enough. And you tell them amen. There we go. You could say that to reinforce, obviously, something someone just said. And here we have component of some chains. You could have an email chain that is being forwarded. So there we go. That was the Sunday crossword. And that was certainly, felt like a better solving experience than the last time I tried this the other day. But of course, it took, I think, even longer because it is a Sunday grid. It is a big jumbo crossword, and that is just what happens on the Sunday. And a very nice theme. Really enjoyed that theme. It was a very funny and specific idea, but it was very well executed. So here we have our supplication to Ares, the god of war, to give peace a chance. Our warning to Icarus, who flew too high, with Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. Oh, and I should have credited Give Peace a Chance by the Plastic Ono Band. We had our request to Prometheus, the bringer of the flame, to light my fire from the Doors. We had the comment to the beautiful Aphrodite from Roy Orbison, Oh Pretty Woman. We had a criticism of the self-absorbed Narcissus from Carly Simon, You're So Vain. The entreaty to Hades, Lord of the Underworld from the Electric Light Orchestra, Don't Bring Me Down. And congratulations to Eos on behalf of Cat Stephen, who informs her that morning has broken. And there we have it, a very nice theme with a very nice combination of subjects, accurately, I think, represented in the title, and constructed by two, I believe, debut constructors to the New York Times crossword. So well done to them. I enjoyed that. Hope you did as well. And I should be, I'm fairly certain I'll be back tomorrow with the Monday crossword for your tomorrow, for the Monday crossword. And that should be a nice, much quicker solving, themed, approachable puzzle. So do join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Sunday. Take care.